What's up, WrestleManiacs? Anthony Wrestling back here once again to give you all the latest update. Now, as you may know on the top of the screen, though, my name has changed. I am known as Wrestling King 37. I'm no longer Boat 0827. And I apologize if this is not WWE 2K20. There is still some issues going on with the game as of lately. I figured I'd come back and give you all the latest update. And I want to wish you all a Happy New Year as well. So here's the latest update. I purchased 2 tickets to go to WrestleMania this year down at the Raymond James Stadium. And I had a hard time trying to figure things out. And my friend and I got into a horrible argument about seating and all this stuff. But then we decided to come to a compromise. And we decided to say, you know what? We're going to get the best seat. We're going to try to find the best seat that we can. And of course, we ended up getting our tickets. And luckily, we're going over to WrestleMania this year. And hopefully I can save some money to get some merchandise, such as maybe get a t-shirt and maybe one of those replica belts I can get. Or if I'm lucky enough, I might save enough money to get 2 belts, 2 championship belts, 2 replica belts, I should say, and maybe a t-shirt or a couple of t-shirts. And the latest update that I want to let you all know about is that AEW did not air last Wednesday night because it was Christmas last week. And NXT had a lot of blast on Christmas Day, wrestling each other in front of the crowd. But unfortunately for AEW, they just missed the target on that one when WWE decided to wrestle in front of the people over at the Full Sail Arena up in Orlando, Florida on Christmas Day. And I'm sure everybody had a wonderful Christmas that day, going out there and making sure that they are provided the best entertainment of all time. Now, the other latest news that's been going on as well with Real Pro Wrestling is Real Pro Wrestling last month did not have an event because the sad thing that happened was due to scheduling conflict over at the Riverside Community Center, they had to cancel the event. And everybody was looking forward to the last event of the year. And the sad part is that the Riverside Community Center, they said to them, no, we are booked. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to figure out another way to do things. Which is going to lead up to March. Which, in March, they are going to host an event called Chaos at the Con. What con you're talking about? The Calusa Con. That's right here right up in the Fort Myers area by the Bell Tower. They're going to be hosting that event over at the Crown Plaza near the Bell Tower. Hopefully that will be the first event of the year for Real Pro Wrestling that we're going to be able to go there and see some entertainment. And I want to give some proper shout-outs to my 2 friends, Rob Huff and Jordan Owens, stated that they are going to WrestleMania this year. Hopefully I will see you guys there at WrestleMania this year, so that way we can all have one hell of a time of our lives. And I'm sure everyone will too. And having the best time of the year will be the best year for all wrestling fans, especially within the pro wrestling community. You see, I want to give a shout out, not a shout out, but I wanted to give something out to Vince McMahon himself. Vince, if you or any one of your kids is watching or hearing this video right now, I have something I want to say. I wish you guys would not fight with AEW. I wish you would not fight with Impact Wrestling. I wish you would not fight with these guys. I wish you all could come together and not make it look like a nation, more like a community. Because this is what I'm envisioning. I really want all the wrestling organizations to come together as one, as a community, not as a separate nation where we're going to just kill each other and to the point that one company gets sold to another company, and then another company gets sold to another company, and then all of a sudden we basically don't have anything. This is why I wanted to form it as a community where everybody would love all different kinds of organizations. People can watch AEW. Sometimes they like to watch WWE. They like to watch Impact Wrestling or Women of Wrestling or Ring of Honor. You know, some other organizations that they can see. And the coolest thing is that if this message can get out to Vince McMahon, I really wanted to tell him I wish there should not be any fighting amongst all the wrestling community. I wish that the wrestling community would work pretty well if we are not fighting amongst ourselves and be like, hey, AEW, do not take any of my wrestlers from WWE. Or, hey, AEW, you can't have this or that. And it's like firing back the same thing with AEW saying, hey, WWE, you can't have our talent either. That's not what I'm envisioning. If you WrestleManiacs think that they all should come together, then please let me know that you think that this is a good idea, that Vince should stop the fighting amongst the whole entire wrestling community. The pro wrestling community is one of the best communities in the world. I mean, sad enough to say that last year we lost Ashley Massaro, and we also lost a ton of different wrestlers as well. And I know it was really, 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 really sad that about a few years ago we lost Roddy Piper, and we lost Dusty Rhodes, and we lost the Ultimate Warrior. And those guys, they are our heroes, our legends that have paved the way for the superstars that are today. And I'm thinking some of these wrestlers whose lives were touched by these heroes, they should be memorialized in some way. And Vince came up with a good idea of doing statues. They did one of the Ultimate Warrior. They did one of Dusty Rhodes. They did one of the Ultimate... did I say Ultimate Warrior already? I think they did one of Roddy Piper as well. What they should do is that they should also do a statue for Ashley Massaro, who was one of the trailblazers in the women's division that paved the way for the women of today. Just like Mickie James and Trish Stratus and Lita and Molly Holly, they paved the way for these women of today. And I wish that would be really, really, really good. Also, of the latest update as well, Lana and Bobby Lashley's wedding became a total disaster, where Liv Morgan came out and professed her love not to Bobby Lashley, but to Lana. And these people did not like the lesbian angle. I mean, come on, Liv. You gotta do something original. You know, like say that Bobby Lashley is the guy of your life. Come up with something original. I mean, we already got a lesbian angle going on already with Sonya Deville going over with Mandy Rose. I mean, after all, on Total Divas, it's obvious to me Sonya Deville decided to come out of the closet and told everybody that she was gay. I mean, we can't have two of that in a row, you know. I mean, lots of people are not liking that. Seriously, Liv Morgan, try something original. And also in the latest of Monday Night Raw, Charlotte Flair decided to secure her spot in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. And I know next year we already have two inductees that are going to be announced for the Hall of Fame ceremony. One of them is the Animal, Batista. Dave Batista actually paved the way for most people. He actually started on working with Reverend Devon as Deacon Batista until he finally broke away and paved his own pathway. That's until about a few months later, about a few months or years later, he actually joined up as a member of Evolution, teaming up with Ric Flair, Triple H, and Randy Orton. And Evolution became one of the most dominant forces ever in WWE history. After a while, Batista went on to become a singles competitor without Evolution to win the World Heavyweight Championship. He was involved in a storyline once with the late Eddie Guerrero when Eddie wanted him to be his amigo. And he did. That's until Eddie Guerrero passed away in 2005, I believe. And it was a sad day that day that we all lost a great superstar who actually got the frog splash move from his friend, the late Art Barr, who wrestled as Beetlejuice in the wrestling organization, which his character was a little bit based off of the movie from Michael Keaton's movie Beetlejuice. So Art Barr have adopted the look, but he was also made famous for his frog splash move, which Eddie Guerrero had inherited. Anyways, Batista later on became friends with him, and later on Batista went on and won several different titles before he ended up going to Hollywood. Batista did a series of Hollywood films like Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as he became one of the guest characters as a Marcus Phoenix skin in the new Gears 5 video game. Batista returned later somewhat, I believe, last year. Not last year, but I'm talking about like 2018, where he attacked the Nature Boy Ric Flair and challenged Triple H to a match. Triple H accepted, but the match turned into a bloody mess when Batista got his nose ring ripped right out of his nostrils. But in the end, Triple H won the battle and won the war. This year, Batista is going to be lucky and proud to be accepting the biggest accolade of all time, becoming a Hall of Famer alongside with some of the greats, like like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan, the Honky Tonk Man, and many, many more. And hopefully Batista will add this into his accolades of accomplishments to the list of other accomplishments that he had in the past. The second inductees that are getting they're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame are the NWO. The formation of the New World Order first started out with Hulk Hogan hitting numerous leg drops on WCW Monday Night Nitro on the late Macho Man Randy Savage, when the fans started booing him and throwing garbage at him. That's when he was told, that's what he told everybody, that you can call it the New World Order of Wrestling. And that's when the NWO was born. He became known as Hollywood Hogan, and he led this group to whole new heights, beating off on the Monday Night Wars when D-Generation X only had a few members, when the NWO had a lot of members. Known for their trademark Wolfpack signal and saying that everything is just too sweet, or the way they say it is too sweet. They dominated WCW all the way through and through, until Kevin Nash at some point created the NWO Wolfpack alongside with Lex Luger, Sting, Conan, and a couple of others. NWO Hollywood and NWO Wolfpack battled each other at one point until ultimately they came back together as one. Then sometime in the coming year, the NWO kind of broke up. When it came about when Syxx had later on left to go back to WWE under the name X-Pac. And they left a lot of people as well hanging and high and dry and figuring where was he going. The other shocking thing that happened was on the same night as Monday Night Raw was on, Ravishing Rick Rude went on to Monday Night Nitro and talked about the rights and the wrongs that were happening in the world of professional wrestling. He chastised Vince McMahon for screwing Bret Hart of the title by having a referee ring the bell when Bret Hart never tapped out. How he screwed him really bad when Shawn Michaels put Bret in his own submission hold and never tapped Bret out, therefore winning the championship. Then he told everybody what's right in the world of professional wrestling was for Bret Hart to abandon the Titanic and swim to the refuge of the NWO, which he stated incorrectly. He left WWE and went to WCW after Ravishing Rick called Eric Bischoff and told him what happened. Bischoff decided to sign him to WCW. Ravishing Rick played a major role in the NWO's path to victory by accompanying his friend Kurt Hennig to the ring. Then Rick, who was actually a major member of the NWO, was about to make a comeback to the ring until in 1999, Ravishing Rick passed away. He died of a heart failure. All the NWO members and all the WCW superstars had mourned for the loss. The NWO continued to battle up in the 90s all the way to 2000 until they finally broke. Thus, the NWO faded away. Until somewhat up either in 2002 or 2003 or what, that after Ric Flair came back to WWE to take over the WWE, Vince got upset and he told everybody that he was going to kill his creation. He was going to infect the WWE with a lethal dose of poison in the form of the NWO. The NWO made their return, hopefully to make an impact, but they quickly ran themselves into a little bit of a problem in the form of the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Over the coming weeks or so, Austin had quickly became a thorn in the side of the NWO by kidnapping Scott Hall, by beating him up with a lead pipe, tying him to a chair, sticking him inside of a beer cooler beer cooler. What do they call that thing? Refrigerator for beers. From there, after that, beating the living heck out of him numerous times and locking Hogan and Nash inside the electrical room while he taunted and teased Hall. One of the members of the NWO, Scott Hall, also in the storyline back in WCW, formed a gimmick when he was so drunk on TV. He would bring a cup of beer with him to the ring all the time, and he would start drinking. On one of the episodes, he finally couldn't hold his liquor anymore and regurgitated it right on the ground. Scott's wife later on said that this kind of a gimmick really didn't sit with her really well. That they didn't even give a care in the world about it. That they all thought it was a big joke. And I think that gimmick did not work out really well. Currently today, Scott Hall, who became inducted into the Hall of Fame under the name Razor Ramon, he became clean and is as sober as he is now. No longer doing the drinking. Scott is well on his way to being on the straight path again. In addition, Scott actually today, he also did DDP yoga alongside with his good friend DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, another Hall of Famer. DDP had actually helped out Scott maintain his ways and got him off the drugs and the alcohol. The other NWO member, Kevin Nash, had also played a major role into the business as well, alongside with Scott Hall, to form the Outsiders. Now, Kevin, over the years, couldn't tolerate Scott Hall's drunken gimmick, and he told him, "I don't even know you anymore." He was fearing for the life of his friend and told him to quit drinking. Currently today, Scott and Kevin are both talking to each other. Kevin also got inducted into the Hall of Fame as well, known as Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Kevin really played a major role in the NWO. He was the tall man that actually kept everything in order. Kevin later on went to Impact Wrestling, and he was claiming to be challenging the X Division, and he was trying to change the X Division to what they are, including Jay Lethal, who was in that business, turning him into Black Machismo, who was ultimately a gimmick to pay homage to the late Macho Man Randy Savage. Kevin really played a major role in the life, not only as a coach, but he was also a father figure as well to some of the younger guys who were coming into the business. Now, at the Hall of Fame ceremony, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac are all going to be two-time Hall of Famers in this year's Hall of Fame ceremony. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the Hall of Fame ceremony like you did last year. So, WrestleManiacs, I believe this is going to do it for me for today. If you guys haven't gotten your tickets yet for WrestleMania, you better go ahead and do so right now, because the tickets are going to be sold. Once the tickets are sold out, you can't get them anymore. So Maniacs, tell me what you think. And let me know if you guys are going to get your tickets for WrestleMania this year. Please leave a comment down below in this video, and hopefully I'll be able to see some comments down below on what you want me to do. I might be getting WWE 2K20 back on my next payday or so, but I'm going to try to get some money saved up to go to WrestleMania this year, and hopefully I can purchase some merchandise and hopefully come home with a wonderful story. So, Maniacs, this is going to do it for me for today. So let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And hopefully I will see you all in the next video. Until then, shine on, WrestleManiacs.